It should be live.
Welcome everyone to another exciting night of Aderjaeger. Where we last left our group of adventurers, they had just wandered into a rather unexpected scene. A cart bearing the signals and check marks of the Order of St. Michael appears to have been ambushed. It lays its cargo, its truly the cart itself, a large metal cart with a steel axle, lies cracked and destroyed in the road, that our heroes had just decided to come and investigate after Jurgen's dramatic and inspiring preaching had not caused such a disturbance to either vanish or come to investigate. As they had reached the lower part, just going around the last curve at the very bottom of the valley, they had noticed these weren't regular threats facing them. These were indeed shard beasts, or Gulon, reanimated corpses or mutated corpses of regular wildlife, corrupted and changed by the shards, the leftover cores of Adder that had been harvested by mankind. These horrible creatures exist purely in the background of human nightmares, but here in the Dark Forest, they fill all sorts of places, including even relatively calm forests near Forsheim. The beast had attempted to howl, but many of them were missing the necessary components, the larynx, in fact, most of the flesh from the neck down tend to be missing on most of these beasts, as the bodies of wolves often cannibalized each other. What exists now is powered purely by malice and embedded shards of crystal. This pack of Gulon had been attracted here by the blue glow and the feeling of power, and had settled on top of the cart just as our adventurers arrived. Jurgen, Zygmunt, you were the most adamant about going to check. How do you react?
Well, Jurgen's going to snap down the visor on his helmet and let out a nice bellow, "Shard beasts!" to alert the rest of anyone who might have missed the glowing horrors coming at them, while readying himself to attack.
Zygmunt will draw his sword and kind of take a position near the front, and basically just try to guide everybody to circle up as best they're able. He'll also make sure to tell Berthold, as much as Berthold probably won't want to hear, to remain near the back because his wounds haven't healed yet.
Berthold takes your advice and, sort of nodding to agree, the face shield falls forward and clamps close as he readies his polearm and takes up sort of a defensive position at the rear of the line.
I do not have control of my pog.
Yep.
Okay, well, that's just gonna be one of those things. Looks like Elena does.
Yeah, I do not.
Alright. Don't you love how sometimes it
Playing fair.
transfers
Yeah.
things and sometimes just decides that...
It's fine. We just know Elena's your favorite.
Yep.
Yay.
And
There
done.
we go.
Let's try
Okay.
that again.
Perfect, thank you.
Yep.
Hooray!
You put your pog in, you put your pog out.
Not much one can do, and Roll20 decides, nope.
Put your
That's
pog
so
in and you ping it all about.
Ah,
Are you idiots having fun? What's with
Do
the
the poggy
Britonian
pokey.
dance? Keep your feet on the ground.
So, like most combat initiative is somewhat irrelevant at this point. You all go first, your enemies go after. We're gonna go alphabetically. So,
Shit.
I'll see you guys later.
Rita,
Yeah.
um,
you don't have an
is,
Orlando.
yeah,
Yeah.
so, shit, I had a question. How did it go? I can aim for one round and then get a bonus or something on the round
Yes.
that I shoot, right? Okay.
Yes.
Rita's aiming.
Okay.
The end.
That was nice and easy. Elena.
So Elena's gonna get out her chain hooks and probably try to stay back away from the beast since she's still injured. And kind of be a little bit upset that nobody suggested that she also stay behind.
Only the
Just a
GM
little
loves
bit
you, nerd.
irritable. Aw. In any case, what I'd like to do is take the chain hooks and, if possible, wrap them around a tree and move off to the side of the beasts. So I'm assuming this is a tree right here. This thing.
Yes, that is a tree.
Is that a tree that she would be able to yank down with the force of a chain hook?
No.
That looks like
That looks
a
like a-
big
No.
fucking tree.
That is a big tree.
Then we're gonna do this way, and she's gonna grab this tree and try to yank it down the top. And actually, that way, over here.
That is
Oh.
going to be a choleric, if I'm not mistaken. That's a forceful roll. Since you're using strength, not leverage.
Bummer.
That's no. Yeah, your intention was pull the tree down. You will now have your hooks on a tree, but the tree remains. Hey, Jurgen.
How far can I move in a turn?
Generally speaking, you can move pretty much to engage the first enemy.
Okay.
You couldn't go all the way to the back, but you could probably move to engage here if you really wanted to do so. They will definitely be coming to you if you give them time, however.
Jurgen's gonna take up kind of at this rubble, hoping that even if they try to go over the rubble, they're gonna have a hard time getting at him. So narrow the path basically means they can only come, like, try to get it so they can only come at him from one direction, but he's not gonna push all the way up. Can I ready an action?
Yes, you can technically.
Okay, if they come around this corner, I'm gonna smack them.
Smack at them. Yes.
Well, smack at them, yes. I may not necessarily hit, but I will attempt to.
Okay. Now, does that include anything that comes via the corner, or just ones that would go around?
Well, if they try to go over or around, I mean, obviously, if they come around this way and get behind him, nothing he can do. But if they come up this road or over the rubble/fence, he's going to try to smack them.
Okay.
What's
So
your
you've readied
weapon?
an action.
That's an axe.
Okay.
Zygmunt. So that didn't take too long.
Right. Well. Yeah, sure, why not? Zygmunt will just go up and hit this wolf. He's gonna charge it down and
Just
stab
straight
it.
in
Yeah,
with your sword.
yeah, with his bastard sword.
All right. Go run on in. There we go.
I don't know if, well, let's see if I can add. No, these aren't really adder, so we're okay.
Nope, these are not adder. These are
Nope.
Gulan. As you kind of rush in to attack, you see the beast kind of almost go down on its front paws and back up slightly. Its mouth opens, but not in a traditional wolf-like way, as the front of its jaw is separated, and so the jaw opens in 3 different directions at the same time.
That's terrifying.
The beast kind of arches its back and jumps up at you to push you back. You're not going to take damage, but it is going to push you back a space.
Okay.
And you are going to do a point of damage. Literally, your sword will break off one of the exposed ribs on the side. Doesn't seem to have much effect, unfortunately. The bone just falls to the ground. Still glowing.
Good thing I'm in front now.
Okay. The beast that had pushed you back kind of takes a step forward and then leaps at you, engaging with you. Give me your response. Do you want to fight back? Do you want to dodge? As a reminder, Aderjaeger, I don't roll dice.
Yeah.
You all do.
Right. I think at this point, as it leaps at him, Zygmunt's going to, as he catches his footing, kind of put up his non-sword arm to kind of brace and maybe try to absorb some of the teeth that are trying to come at him.
Okay.
And then with his free arm, just try basically fight back. So Zygmunt's going to try and with his bastard sword try and stab it through his exposed ribs.
Fighting back is definitely choleric. Hey, you impale the beast, but find it somewhat unsatisfying as the sword just passes through its open, exposed chest cavity. A black ichor coats the blade, as
Ugh.
if you had cut some rotten flesh between the different sections. Okay. This one. Wolves are sure-footed things that no longer fear the pain of their feet on rough terrain and which can run without stamina loss. Gulons care not for rubble. And this one makes a straight run at Jurgen, reaches the top of the rubble pile, and then latches forward, jumping in the air towards him to engage.
Well, that's going to also...
Yep, that's going to trigger your move. So let's resolve your attempt at your readied action first.
Yep. Nope, unfortunately.
You attempt to bash it out of the air and miss. Now, how do you take this attack in that sense? You're going to try to deflect it. You are going to try to fight back. You are going to what?
Jurgen's going to try to deflect it, basically bringing the arm that's not carrying his axe up to protect sort of the throat that most wolves would normally go for, and try to use the armor to push it aside.
Okay.
Remind me how deflect rolls work.
Okay, deflection directly uses your armor instead of trying to, pretty much... You're not trying to be graceful. You're just literally, I'm armored, so suck it.
Yeah.
So basically what you're going to do is you're going to do a normal roll. Okay?
So 2d6.
Yeah, it's just a 2d6 plus your armor. So you have 1 point of armor because you have a regular Claire de Panzer on. Now, when you upgrade that, it's different. But for now...
Because we left that upgrading armor.
Oh!
There we go.
Nice.
Now, since we're going through this again, I'm just going to read off what that basically means. On a 10 plus, you deflect the blow and are either bowled over or somehow displaced but avoid damage. In this case, that would be for an adder. In this case, I'm just going to say you literally just deflect the blow with an armored forearm.
Okay.
Literally one part of its mouth falls off. It's now just 2 of 3 sections hanging on, attempting to gain purchase on steel as you kind of fling it to the side. Its bite, you can hear the sound of the metal bending and contorting to your arm as the bite force goes. This is more than the kind of force that a wolf could put forward. So we're gonna spin the wolf around, deflected, and move him back here.
He's dancing.
Well, he got flung off, effectively. Okay. So this one seems a little more cautious. This one here on top of the cart is a little more cautious, and you can see its sort of blue glowing eyes check to both sides, and then it jumps off the cart, but it jumps backwards off the cart, turning around and seemingly changing position before disappearing back behind into the trees. I'm going to make that one disappear for a moment. There you go. Alright. These two, however, are ready for the fight. A new one hops on top of the cart. And Zygmunt, you are just too tempting a target right there, as you have impaled the first wolf. And it leaps at you as well.
At this point, I'm thinking, well, it feels cheap to fight back at this point, and it's already fought back.
Well, your sword is already through one.
Right. My thought would be to.
Unless you're going to try to hit them with the other
that's exactly what I was about to say.
Which
Hit
I
a
will
motherfucker
accept.
with a
Right,
motherfucker.
Exactly. Yeah, I want to do that because I need to.
Okay.
Another 9.
I'm just gonna give you something cool for that.
Okay.
So you literally, after having sort of not quite done damage, but definitely having sort of shish kebabbed the undead wolf, the blade passing through the rib cage and out beyond the spinal column, you decide you need your sword back. So you actually grab, you actually grab the blade as if you're going to basically murder hand the sword, swing forward, and club the other gulag, knocking both of them into the rubble pile and off of you. Your sword taking off another chunk of rib, but leaving the sword in your hand. So you still have 2 wolves that want your blood, but they're not on you anymore.
Right.
Kayla, choose 2. Your choice.
Okay, it's gonna be choleric and phlegmatic.
Okay, that's fine. Okay. We've got one more. He kind of disappears into the tree. He kind of runs behind the tree and seems to be going for a longer, more passive route here. But he's a while back. Alright, that's the end of their turn. Brita, you've been aiming for a turn.
Oh yeah, she has. She's gonna move right over here so Elena is not in her sights, and she's gonna aim for that one.
Okay. So you've been following him from since the cart.
Yeah. Remind me again what roll that is for a shot.
Okay, let's look at your sheet just so we can do this
Is
together.
that phlegmatic or melancholic?
Typically, ranged is phlegmatic because it's reflexive or graceful. You're handling a trigger instead of having to handle a blade. So it would be phlegmatic.
But I want to
You
roll
get a-
melancholic because I have 2 in that.
Well, then you
Are you
should.
are you gonna calculate the wolf to death?
Well, I was following it with I'll roll fucking phlegmatic.
Yeah.
Let's
When
see.
using marksman, you gain
Yeah.
+1 to phlegmatic, so you're 1.
Yeah. Alright.
Uh,
Aww.
Oh, it's a 6, which I think is still a miss, right?
That's a 6, yes. Unfortunately, 7 to 9 is partial. 10 plus is succeed.
What about, because she gets 1 with from marksman,
Yeah.
what about for aiming?
Yeah, that's another
Oh, that's,
+1.
oh, yeah,
that's,
wouldn't that
that's why it's 6.
Oh,
5
that-
plus 1 is 6.
Okay, I thought she was getting 2
Oh wait,
plus
no,
ones.
no, you
No.
didn't add.
Yeah, no, I didn't add that, so it's 7.
Yeah, so that's a partial.
Thank you, Lucas.
Why is it? Sorry, hold on, it's doing something. 4. Those are the 2d6. I'm like, okay. So yes, okay, that is a partial success. Um. Okay. Let's see here. Let me just check these guys. Okay. Your shot rings out, and you literally take its tail off, right at the hip. Leaves its little glowing tail behind and continues running.
I blew its ass off, guys.
Effectively, yes.
I'm helping. Let's go play pin the tail on the undead wolf.
Okay. Elena, your attempt to pull the tree has left you holding onto a tree.
Yay. How tall is this thing that I'm on? And will it, if it fell, would it hit this
I mean,
thing?
it would be a tree. It's not a massive tree. That's probably a 9-12 footer. It'd probably block most of the road, but it'd only be about 9 to 10 inches in diameter.
I'm just wondering if I can smack this thing that's like right in front of me with it.
I mean,
Yeah.
you could, but you could use weapons to do the same thing.
I'm trying to figure out what equipment I have. Let me see here. I have a flask, chain hooks, 3 climbing spurs. I am not equipped for melee combat.
Oh,
I mean,
God.
They are giant fish hooks that you can hit people with, made out of iron.
All right, that's true. I'll take out the second set that I have, and aim to throw one to try to dig into this thing's skull. This one.
Are you just going to leave your hooks attached to the first tree?
I mean, I don't think I have enough time to do an action to like untangle them from the tree and attack this thing.
True. You are correct. So you just drop them and then pull out your other one and attack?
Yeah, she'd leave them like in the saddle. So like she'd drop the trains, but like she's not holding onto them, but she's trying not to like get them out of reach.
Okay.
All right, and that would still be choleric, correct?
Yes. No. Well, actually, it may be better than that. Hold on. What's your phlegmatic? Because chains are ranged. You're +2, so that'd be a 12.
I mean, I just rolled a choleric and it succeeded.
Yeah, I know, but you would be what you rolled is the same because that's a 0. So you'd still be a 10. You just be then plus your bonus for a phlegmatic.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, choleric is the reason it was choleric was not to hit the tree. It was to have the
Pull the
strength
tree.
to pull the tree down. Normally, you'll be rolling
okay.
phlegmatic when you're attacking things at distance. Because
Okay.
it's the flick of your wrist versus the strength of your arm.
So phlegmatic is 2, and then I get a +1 for any phlegmatic roll that deals with the chain hooks. Yeah.
Okay, then that's a 13. Because you're +2 to your 10 that you already rolled, +1 for that. So you're at a 13, so that succeeds. Handedly. You literally land the sort of the point of the hook into the eye socket of the beast. And it spins around as it tries at first to get momentum, but finds itself basically tethered to you. A large portion of its skull has been cracked open on the other side, and you can see just rotten flesh filling the skull. There's a bright blue sort of flicker visible through the eye socket now.
Cool. I don't suppose I have any time for any additional action, correct?
Not really, no.
All right.
If you want to tell me, what would you want to do? That's really, I guess, the question. You could back up, you could pull.
The thing would be that she would actually want to take those additional, the chain hook that's attached to the tree and basically run over here and around the tree to untangle the one chain hook and also tangle the one that she currently has hooked into the wolf, like basically tie it to the tree.
No, I'm sorry, that's too many actions for a turn.
Yeah, I kind of figured.
Plus, I've got a better idea, and it's going to be my turn next.
Cool.
All right, Jurgen.
All right. Well, she's got a hook in this thing's skull. Jurgen's gonna flip his axe around and try to dig the spike into its back and pull the opposite direction.
Oh,
Okay. You partially succeed. The pick on the back of the axe sort of digs into one of the vertebrae on the back, and with sort of a sickening crick pop, the wolf separates into two pieces. Both sides sort of seem both sides are pulled in different directions, and at first it seems like there's no way this beast could recover. But then a sort of this strange hissing sound comes from the separated part of the wolf. And a black goo oozes down to the ground behind it, and from where it was sort of stuck, both sides pop themselves back up. The butt end is now only about 8 or 9 inches long, with very similar sort of blackened legs, but no head. It is effectively a running butt now.
Yeah.
But it is still alive. So we're gonna find a mark here to note that we have a separated wolfie.
Running butt.
We're gonna go with this. And then we're going to duplicate this. There you go. Both halves are technically mobile still, though only one side still has a mouth.
It's only one hooked.
I thought you were only throwing one hook. Are you trying to put both
No,
hooks through it?
you hooked the front end.
Yeah, you have the front end.
Ah.
He hooked the back end, and they separated, and then almost as soon as they separated, there was sort of a pop noise, and black goo reformed sort of improvised legs.
Okay. All
the
right.
body of the
Sorry,
girl is adapting, effectively.
I was not understanding what was happening.
How
We're good.
drunk are you?
A quarter of a cup of beer drunk?
Oh, Lord.
I'm not even drunk. Like, I just didn't understand.
All right. Zygmunt, it's your turn.
yeah. So I guess what Zygmunt will do is, I'm gonna say, yeah, because Zygmunt probably wasn't paying attention to what happened when there was that flicker of blue in what has happening in Elena's neck of the woods. He's gonna move over here, and then again with his free hand. Clearly the stabbing motions aren't working. Maybe just try to chop the damn thing's head off will work instead. And so we're gonna swing the bastard sword again.
Go for it.
All these partial successes.
Yeah. The guard penetrates the skull, cracking it heartily. But then, as you know, skulls are not made of one solid piece of bone. They've got seams. The skull itself seems to break and shatter, and you can see the sort of crack lining, the crack that goes across the top of the skull widening as your sword goes in. But then it gets smaller. There's almost a snapping noise as the top of the skull literally bites the guard of the blade.
Ew.
Neat.
Okay. That's everybody. It's the Wolfie's turn. Let's start with the most horribly mangled one first. So, when the rear half of this wolf reformed legs, it was not facing you, Jurgen. It was facing Elena, because that
Yes.
was the way its body was going at the time. So facing you directly is the ass end of the beast. Seeing no reason to keep its old orientation, It jumps ass first towards you.
Oh boy.
There's sort of a sickening stench and appearance as the rear side seems to gape and open, and more teeth now become visible at the rear of the beast.
This thing's asshole just grew teeth at us.
Routine at you.
You can tell more
It's your
specifically
favorite.
in sort of your terrifying fear heightened senses that these are not teeth. These are just bits of end of bone that have been broken off and then forced into the shape of teeth. This thing has formed a mouth when it had none, but had no idea how to actually make proper teeth.
Okay, can I say that when I pulled, I didn't take the embedded axe spike out of the ass yet?
Sure.
Okay.
Well, in the future, please clarify, but I will,
Well,
I will take it as...
what I was gonna say is, then as this thing leaps at Jurgen with his axe still in it, he's gonna try to smack it down to the ground. So I'm gonna say that's a fight back.
Okay, yeah, that's a color.
Okay.
There you go. You smack it down to the ground, and there's sort of a sickening crack sound as the spine, which has already received quite a lot of damage, cracks and bends out of alignment, but you're able to actually hold it down in this position if you choose. Or simply having done damage to it, you can release it or pick it up or what have you.
After he would have more or less smashed it to the ground, he would have probably tried to pull the spike out at this point.
Okay. That is a free action, since it doesn't have a piece of bone that can then bite at it.
Gotcha.
Okay. The front half is now effectively the body size of a pug with the head of a wolf.
And half as many
And-
legs.
This is a fucking comedy routine shit show. This isn't even horrific anymore. This is
No,
hilarious.
this is great.
I didn't say it was bad.
You still have the hook in its eye, but in a sense that just means you're now tethered to half of the most vicious pug ever assembled. And the beast quite literally sort of dives at your ankles.
Can I just lift the thing up off the ground and just hold it there?
You can certainly try.
I don't even know. Like, it's the size of a pug. Like, it's not really
surprisingly
color.
heavy. It is surprisingly heavy.
All right, I'll give it a color.
Well, it's also fighting back, so... as you're able to lift it up, it's obviously its head and neck are kind of fixed the way that they are to the spinal column, so it has to go up when you lift up. But it lashes out you with its claws and actually does a point of damage.
So that brings me back up on 9 on the harm clock.
Yes. Because you effectively lifted it up. You brought it closer to you.
Me up so I can take you tonight on the harm clock.
Is it my turn or is it still?
No, it's not your turn. It's still the
alright.
wolf's turn.
We still
I'm
got
just
3
making sure
wolves.
you were settled, that's all. Okay, we're gonna go with the one who had its tail shut off. It continues and closes. It's actually in a turn. That's about right. Let's turn her to. It is coming right for Rita at this point.
Can it wait for a turn while I reload, please?
No.
Oh man. Is it my turn?
No.
Oh, okay.
I got two angry wolves to gnaw on my face first.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, one angry wolf. The other, having been knocked off, will kind of roll and actually move around towards Zygmunt. And
Or
leap at
Jurgen.
him from behind!
Well, then all I can really do is hope my armor holds up, so that's going to be deflection.
You can either deflect or you can try to notice it. Which would be
No, I'll
very
be good
hard.
with the deflection.
There you go. So it basically goes and and jumps and tries to bite and just hits armor. Again, you can hear its sort of rotted teeth crunch the armor behind you. Not to the point that it penetrates, but there is far more power here than there should be. All right. Zygmunt, doing having been literally bit back against your sword, it is trying to back up and pull you further into the forest.
I'm gonna pull it right back.
Okay, so that's a choleric.
I want to suplex this son of a bitch
Well,
with my sword.
Oh my
I guess.
god.
no. In this case, you two are somewhat locked at in sort of a deranged form of tug of war. You holding onto the sword, it holding onto you, well, your sword, and you each try to pull yourself in different directions. Brita, it is now your turn.
Oh boy, so no one's actually on her yet, right?
Right.
Just charging right at you.
Shit. I didn't build this character for close combat.
Good thing 2 people in close combat are very far away and distracted by ass beats and other.
Ass beast! Oh shit. Alright, fuck. See, the problem is, I just try to, like, wrestle this thing. I have a -1 in cleric. I don't feel like that'll end well.
You could always retreat and reload in the same turn.
That's actually probably a really good turn. What's the move range on these wolfies?
The move range is actually quite long. You could probably get to the other side of this tree. But you could also put some, things between you and it. It's gonna try to be on you, though. Consider it as the thing. It's pushing on you intentionally.
What's my move range at? Is there a way for me to see that?
No, I'm just telling you roughly you can move about a quarter of the map. So about behind this tree, you could move down to Jurgen and hope he protects you. You could get to the other side of Elena.
Well, I guess I'm just gonna run this way and reload while I'm doing that.
Okay.
That's about right, right?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm reloading because I'm useless for 50% of the combat.
That's why we took this path.
Yeah.
Okay. Elena, you have a thing that has just scratched up your face.
Elena's not too happy. She makes kind of a yell, and she doesn't let go of the chain, but she drops this thing back down and kind of takes off running. She's actually gonna run this way, wrap this thing around the tree, and at the same time untangle the other pair of chain hooks, or the other chain hook that she had on the tree initially, so that she can use it again. And then run away so that she's out of range of the little tiny pug monster thingy.
Okay, running away, you'd be able to get around there going around the tree. So you'd be right next to Brita. You'd be able to get around the tree. You could probably grab the other line. Are you still holding on to this line, right?
Oh yeah, she's holding on to it until she's got it wrapped around the tree.
You couldn't go that far.
Jesus.
You would be right here by Brita. You are not that fast. You're not on a horse.
Okay.
That would be reflexive. I'm fairly certain.
All right, reflexive.
Phlegmatic.
Okay, and then it's gonna have a +1 attached to it. So an 8.
You're able to get around the tree and even untangle your first set of chain hooks, but this pug-sized horror is not having it. He is literally backing up. You are now also in a tug of war with this beast. So you can untangle your first set, but it's not following along, as it were. It's pulling against you.
All right. I mean, I'm already around the tree, right?
Yes.
Could I just dig the hook and the other hooked end into the tree?
You can only do so much in your turn.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You've already untangled a thing, ran around a tree, dropped the hook, ran around the tree, untangled the other chain hooks, and come around the other side of the tree. I think
I haven't dropped anything.
Okay, but you let it down to the ground. You were holding it up in front of you.
Oh, yeah.
You dropped that to the ground. You you released tension on the chain, ran around the tree, untangled the other ones because you grabbed those as you were going by, and then came and brought all 3 lines, right? Because the chain hook is like a continuous loop with 2 hooks.
Yep.
So that's 3 chains you're holding on to and came around the side of the tree.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
So basically, if you want to hook it into the tree on your next turn, that's great. You're just going to do a choleric because it's going to try to pull the chain out of your hand. Not
Okay.
all chain hooks, just the one chain it's attached to. Okay?
All right.
Alright. Jurgen.
Jurgen's gonna whip around and try to drive the spike right into this thing's head.
Okay.
So many
We got
partial
a
successes.
lot of partial successes tonight.
Yeah.
I'm actually amazed with as many bonuses as we have.
All of my situational bonuses require a horse. Should have brought Albert.
As you whip the spike to it, instead of getting it in the face, you actually get it in the mouth, and it bites onto the axe. It begins trying to take the axe away from you. But we'll get to that on its turn. Basically,
Yep.
It's going to bite the axe, and because of its weight, land on the ground. Zygmunt.
Okay, so my sword is still in this thing's head.
Yes.
What I know of shard beasts is basically they're the corpses of animals that are powered by the shards of a core, right?
Right.
Like is it possible to say remove the shard and then the corpse just falls to the ground, or?
The problem is most shard beasts are comprised of multiple shards.
Oh, okay. So okay.
Removing a shard will reduce its ability to adapt. Well, basically, just how adders are kind of nature corrupted by an alien intelligence, shard beasts is nature corrupted by an idiot alien intelligence.
Right.
It forms mouths and eyes and
Out of acids.
organs out of anything it can. If it loses a part, it changes it. If it finds new material, it absorbs it. And that's arguably why they're dangerous, is because they can... I mean, imagine if like 12 or some wolves all died and they started forming together into 3 or 4 massive,
right,
6-mouth beasts,
Right.
You don't know what you can...
Here's my question to you. Is there anything, like, I could, like, say, punch this thing through its neck or something and rip out a shard that's visibly available?
I would say that's entirely possible and would be really cool, so as the GM, I support it.
Okay, so yeah, knowing that this thing's basically falling apart, Zygmunt's gonna try and do just that. Shit. The first miss I've had all day.
Yup.
You quite literally insert your hand into the beast's mouth. You've been fighting with it, tugging with it. You lift the sword. You go for that sort of epic, ripping out the back of its neck kind of a thing. And your hand, it fights you, and your hand just goes straight into its mouth, and it clamps down on the gauntlet on your hand. So now it's holding onto your sword and you.
Yep. Good. Kind of right where I want it, guys.
You are going to take a point of damage as the teeth actually start penetrating the gauntlet. It's literally forming the metal now around your wrist and hurts quite a bit in doing so.
Okay. Son of a bitch.
Okay.
Somehow we haven't killed any of these things, and we made 2 more. Or 1 more.
Well, you've weakened them. Because now one's just basically an ass pug. And the other thing is a
And they still do 1 point of harm every time they attack
Yeah.
somebody.
when they succeed, they're doing pretty badly too. Okay, let's start with the one furthest disengaged. This wolf will pass by its brother that is basically trying to play tug of war with Elena and come around the tree and slow down, opening and baring its sort of multiple jaws as they sort of fling open like my word's not going to work with me right now. Basically, the mouth splits open in multiple directions, and just these rotten, black bile-soaked teeth shine in the moonlight as it comes around, sort of low guttural growl with a gasping noise mixed in as it threatens Brita and Elena, but does not yet pounce. It doesn't quite have the time to do so. Okay, this one that is trying to pull Elena, give me a choleric roll or some alternative.
I'm gonna go with a reflexive graceful to try to dodge whatever the fuck it's gonna do. Or wait, are we talking about it yanking still, or what
It's
is
yanking.
it doing?
Yeah, you can't reflexive graceful unless you're gonna wait till it pulls really hard, then let go and watch it fall on its butt. That would, I guess, technically count.
Seinfeld laughter.
Yeah.
No, I'll give the choleric a try.
Okay. You're able to hold your own. It cannot pull the chain out of your hand, despite wanting to very, very badly. You all are at a stalemate. You both partially succeed. Jurgen, the ass-pug attacks your ankles.
I'm gonna try to deflect it again, because I've got to deal with the other thing with my axe in its mouth.
Jesus!
There you go.
Jurgen the Tank!
The mouth having not a muzzle like a normal wolf mouth and being literally absorbed into the rear half of the animal, can make no purchase on your armor and just sort of tries to gnaw uselessly at your sabatons.
Aw. He thinks he's
It's not
people.
an aw. It's horrifying. Take an
Yeah.
additional point of damage. No, I'm just kidding.
Roll for
Roll for
sanity.
sanity.
Okay. And this one right here is going to try to take your axe away from you. So that's a choleric roll, straight up.
Okay.
You succeed. You're able to rip the axe out of its mouth, taking with it its front canines
May I?
and most of its nose. Oh, go ahead.
May I? Can I ask for something alternative?
Sure.
Instead of ripping the axe out of its mouth, can I try to drive the spike up through the roof of its mouth into sort of where the brain would be? I know it doesn't have a brain, but I want to hold on to it. I just want to hold on to my axe at the same time.
With an 11, yes.
Okay, cool.
If it was a partial succeed, I would say no. Because what you're going to have to do is turn the axe to get the spike upwards.
Yep.
So that would be difficult.
It would be
since
difficult.
we're just pulling on it. But with an 11, I'll consider that as success.
Okay, thank you, Jay.
Basically, your spike digs into the top of its mouth. The beast sort of eyes at you, glowing blue, but doesn't seem to change. There's sort of a flicker behind the eyes, but it doesn't seem to remove its desire to remove the thing from your ownership, despite the fact that you now have a spike in its brain. All right, and now the wolf's turn. It has you pretty well. You know what? It's going to. It has been standing there, holding on to the blade, the guard of your sword, and now your wrist. It's going to sort of jump towards you, and almost attempt to do and release the guard of your blade, and it's going to attempt almost effectively a backflip and take your hand with it.
No, thank you.
So this is going to be a choleric roll.
I don't like this at all. Jesus Christ, thank you.
Luckily, you are not having it, and its broken, rotten teeth just fall out of its mouth as it flips backwards. It's no longer holding on to you, but it also is separated from you slightly. All right, Brita, guess what?
Chicken butt.
Yes, that's it. It's Chicken
All right.
Butt's turn. Okay, Chicken Butt, what are you doing?
All right. What is the body completion status of this lovely
It
fellow?
is missing its tail, which could definitely be considered a non-essential part.
He's assless. All right. So Brita has a loaded gun now.
Yes.
Is wherever the shard is presumably in its body, would Brita be able to see it, and or would she have any knowledge of where it would probably be?
Gulons, unlike adders, don't have the kind of centralized system of a core. So no, it would be very difficult to find. You could aim for simply the most fleshiest part of them.
Do they glow?
Yeah, I was gonna say, is there any visual indication?
This one does not, because it doesn't have any significant damage. Its eyes already glow.
But there's a big hole in its ass. Is it glowing out the ass?
There's no glowing in the ass.
Oh,
Just as a reminder,
that one's
it's
ass
pretty
is
much
glowing.
held together. Well, no, you're right.
I just ripped a really miasmatic fart.
Thank you, Lucas. I didn't realize we were role-playing the fucking wolves. Can you please plug your ass back up? Brita is gonna... Okay, if this one's coming towards her, is it fair to assume that it would end up facing with its head towards her? Like, it's not actually
Yes,
looking
yeah.
off in that direction.
The head
It's
is
looking at them.
definitely coming towards you.
Right, so the body is more like up
Yeah,
and
it's
down
more
as
in-
opposed to diagonal.
Yeah.
Can
It
she
does-
just...
You have to understand, it does, unfortunately, I'm going to move it towards you, turn it, to then...
Right, but what I'm saying is, like, its body is, like, in this direction as opposed to, like, that direction.
Yes, you are
It's
correct.
facing, like, in this...
Yes.
Okay. Then she is gonna shoot right down the head and hope the bullet travels through the body enough to actually do
You're going
things.
to bisect it via the spine.
Just right down the as true center as she can, yeah.
Okay, I love it. Go for it.
Let's see, what do we say? Phlegmatic, alright. And that gets a +1.
That gets a +1.
Yeah, because I'm
That's a
using...
partial success. Okay.
Right.
Because that would be an 8.
Mhm.
The bullet literally smashes through the front of the cranium. And you can see for a second the eyes kind of go from that bright sort of greenish blue to dark as the head kind of tilts sideways like some dogs do when they're curious what you're doing.
Mhm.
And then the head just kind of snaps back as the eyes flicker back on, almost biomechanically, before it growls at you again. The little, sort of still hot molten lead core sitting at the back of its skull, visible from the front now. You've basically given it a third eye.
Oh, good. I can't ready an action, can I?
You just took an action.
That's what I figured. Okay, just checking.
If you didn't take an action, you can ready an action.
All right.
Okay. You can move, too.
Oh yeah, I didn't move
Yeah.
at all.
You can do an action and move, just like most standard role-playing games.
I actually don't have enough tiles to like maneuver this. I didn't mean to ping, but she
Okay.
would kind of move like right where this little cross section is. She would put herself between the thing and Elena because Elena is severely damaged and Brita is not.
I can move you. There you go.
Oh, thank you. That's exactly where I wanted to be.
Roll 20 tip. Hold Alt. Move where you
What?
want. Yeah.
I'm gonna go so
I
many
just learned that
places.
using the GM tutorial.
Wow, we're traveling now,
It
folks.
disconnects you from the grid.
Good to know.
Okay, Elena, it's your turn. Brita has stepped in front of you after quite literally burying a soft lead round into the skull of this beast.
Is this the same one that is the little pug that is
No.
attached to me?
No,
This is the
these
assless
ones are.
one.
Or those ones are over there. This is the one that she just put a bullet.
All right. She is gonna try to secure the chain hook that's in her hand that's currently attached to that guy. To the tree.
Okay. That is definitely reflexive. That is not color. You're basically just taking the other hook and going click, and it's now pulling against a tree.
All right, sweet. I'm then going to move. Well, actually, let me see. What is the range on the chain hooks? Oh, great. I did not. I just said medium length. I'm really good at this.
I would say medium length is half the map, roughly.
Okay. So this thing still has quite a bit of range. If it figures out that it can run around until it like runs itself around and like shortens the chain on its own.
Like most dogs.
Yeah, that's probably what will end up happening. Elena's gonna stay where she is at the moment to provide Brita with some support, just some emotional support as she deals with this.
You're doing okay. You're doing okay.
Thank you
I mean,
so much.
I can't ready an action or do anything else, can I? So.
You know, I would let you ready an act. All you did was basically Are you going to like dig it into the tree, or are you just gonna basically?
I hooked it onto itself around the tree.
Okay, that is an action then. Yeah, sorry. If it was just basically letting go of it so it will catch on the tree, that's different than going around and securing it properly.
Yeah, I don't want that thing to come off. Like
no.
The wolf is not coming. The pug is not coming. Sorry.
Right. Okay, Jurgen.
All right, Jurgen's going to go ahead and shift his grip so he's got both hands on the handle of his axe. And then he's going to swing the axe that is still embedded in this creature's head at the ass. He's going to hit a motherfucker with the motherfucker.
Okay. If you partially succeed, I have a hilarious thing to do.
Oh no. Alright, let's try it.
Oh!
Nope!
No, you do not partially succeed on anything there.
But it looks dope.
You know what? I'm gonna let you describe that.
Well, am I taking either of them out of action?
You will take out either of your choice, one or the other.
Well, as Jurgen sort of gets his grip on this thing, he shifts and begins to turn and smashes the full body of the wolf into the hindquarters of the other wolf. Not really getting it with any sharp and pointy bits, so just kind of knocking it back like you would expect somebody struck with a baseball bat or a sledgehammer, maybe dashing it to the ground. But the impact with this thing buried in the first wolf's skull is enough to tear the axe free and completely shred the creature's just head and sort of skull as it frees the axe in a visceral spray.
Okay. That bowls the first axe into the other. They're both kind of pushed back. Yep. Come on, don't readjust the size. There we go. So they're basically in a heap in front of you at this point. And which one was the one you think was dead?
I was gonna say that that quote unquote kills the one that had the axe in its skull, because that's, you know,
okay,
basically he's blown the entire skull out.
That doesn't necessarily kill these animals.
Well, yeah.
But that's okay. I have an idea.
You go right ahead.
Basically, the skull has ripped off. The skull itself was flung into the darker corners of the forest. There's sort of a howling noise as wind is forced through the larynx of the still attached skull as it goes flying into the forest. The two bodies are in a heap, but there's still locomotion there, obviously.
Gotcha.
In fact, the ass pug, which I think is still the best way to describe that thing, sorry, there's sort of a sickening ripping noise as the sort of impromptu rectum mouth that had been there before rips open and it forms a much larger open muzzle and actually bites into the body of the other one that had landed on top of it. The two bodies begin to sort of melt and remerge, taking the bones with them, sort of an amorphous pile currently on the ground. Okay, Zygmunt. This guy just tried to take your friggin' hand.
Yeah, Zygmunt's fucking tired of this shit. Um, so clearly, we need a little bit more oomph to this. So Zygmunt, I'm assuming this is a little bit more high ground. That
A
this
little bit,
rebel.
yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Zygmunt's basically just gonna run and do a running leap and then attempt to bisect the thing with his sword,
all right, go for it.
bringing all of his heap of man down on top of it.
Get that
That is
man
a
in there.
fucking
Gravity
exclamation.
is on your side as your blade cuts true and quite literally bisects it, not straight
entirely,
down the
obviously,
spine,
yeah.
but somewhat off kilter, and your blade hits the ground before you realize that it had even hit the beast. It was such a almost sloshy, rotten mess of bone, flesh, and black bile that your sword passed through without you even realizing it. It was almost too easy. And the bodies just kind of fall to each side, and there's this attempt at movement. It's almost kind of sad as the legs spin like as if the wolf or like a dog would be having a dream on the floor. And then the black fluid just flows out of the bones, leaving sort of a desecrated remains behind. That is one dead beast. It is not taking your hand this time.
Yay.
And it's now their turn. Let's start off with the most determined of them.
ass pug?
Is that the pug?
No, the one that is attached with the eye. Finally feeling some like leeway on the chain, it turns and just dashes for the forest. Just at full gallop, runs into the darkness, and you can hear the chain just feeding out, then clink! This sort of resonating clank noise as you hear click, 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 click. And the chain goes completely tight, and then there's a cracking noise. But the cracking isn't coming from the body of the sort of destroyed beast over there. No, it comes from the tree that Brita and Elena are standing next to. In the road, Jurgen, the ass beast, has actually fully consumed the desecrated remains of its former packmate, and a hideous sort of toothed beast with one long contiguous mouth stares at you and begins to growl, the bones rattling inside it, almost sounding like a cockroach or something, as it hisses and begins to get ready to leap for you just before the tree that had been brought down falls on top of them, crushing the now reformed body and spraying black fluid for probably 20 feet in all directions, just crushed by this foot-thick tree. That's 2 dead.
2.5.
2? No, that's
three
2
then.
proper.
Yeah.
Yeah.
3 altogether. The one with the bullet in his head is still staring down Brita, however, and leaps at her.
Do I get to do something?
You do. You get to choose how you respond. You can fight back. You can try to use like your rifle to keep it from biting at you. You can throw Elena at it. I don't know.
Elena, get over here. You gotta be useful now.
Fuck you.
You could try to dodge. I mean, you've got
Oh god.
dodge is
the thing
phlegmatic. Choleric is fight back. Deflection is deflection. Because that's a whole separate category.
Yeah, see, the thing is, like, I would love to just smack it away with my gun. I don't think I would be able to pull it off, though, with a -1 in that skill. Maybe I'll do that anyways, though. Because if I dodge, it doesn't really solve any problems. Yeah.
If you dodge, you do solve the damage problem, and then Jurgen and Zygmunt can come over there and start taking it apart piece by piece.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess, yeah, it's the last one alive, isn't it?
Mhm.
Okay.
Well, there's one that ran off somewhere.
Well,
We don't know what
fuck,
happened
I
to
don't
that one.
give a shit about him.
Okay.
He's never coming back, obviously. Yeah, okay, so she's going to... Can I take Elena with me in any way?
Not dodging, no. On your turn, you could definitely escort her.
Oh,
but
that's
as
right, it's not my
as a
turn.
reflexive action, no, you can't take her.
Okay, then,
And you don't actually have to move. Dodging is, in this sense, I mostly mean sidestepping.
yeah. Okay, I'll do that. That's graceful, right?
Yep, that would
Just
be.
make sure you
And-
sidestep this way, and
Well-
not and not the way that leads to Elena getting a wolf in the face.
I mean, that's a good partial successful, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that actually is exactly what happens. Breeding,
What?
you
No.
step out of the way. Elena, I need your response.
Sorry, bitch.
It's just that there are some.
We're gonna go with a reflexive here.
And now we're just gonna start a chain of, no, you take the hit. No, you take the hit.
I mean, in a sense, that's a possibility.
Like a choleric to pull Brita back in front of you.
Is this same like jumping or like lunging?
Yeah,
or
it's literally in the air. And Brita basically sidestepped it, which she happened to step in a way that leads it to you.
Can I use the other chain hook to try to like knock this thing in the face and
That
yank it
would
down
be
to the
choleric.
ground?
Yes, it would. Go for it.
Is choleric?
I'm not
Yes.
sure what triggered
It's
it,
forceful.
but it was something
You're
like,
attacking melee, right?
Switching targets, broke stuff, and then
it's still
nothing was working
ranged.
until I switched
Like, I'm not
targets.
gonna be up in the air.
Technically, it's right here.
Oh,
Yeah, it jumped at Brita. Brita moved. It's
then-
now at you.
then I'm gonna go with just a straight up dodge.
Okay. No.
Shit.
Ah,
Sorry. That was actually not my intention to play that out that way.
I'm actually in
After I
serious
step
danger
in front
now.
of her, like, I'm gonna protect her, and then
The beast literally bowls you over. Knocking you to the ground, it growls and sort of hisses at you at the same time as much as it can, since it's missing a large portion of its esophagus. Black fluid drips from its face as it has you now pinned to the ground. It has not attacked you, but it is standing on your chest, and even though it's missing most of its actual flesh, it feels about twice as heavy as any wolf you have ever encountered. There's additional weight here that shouldn't be. So we're actually going to move you back. Hold on, let me move the wolf over. We're going to move you back. Going to put the wolfie on top of you. Brita, it's your turn.
oh, good. That's actually really convenient. So Brita is going to fail this roll, but she is going to. She still hasn't reloaded her gun, so we're in mano a mano mode right now. She's going to reach and try to grab this thing while its back is to her, like by. I
You
can't
mean
really
the
say
tail
the
that
scruff.
isn't there?
So,
No,
yeah.
I can't really say like the scruff, but like just the back area, like
Okay.
you know, the back of the
Right.
shoulders or something. Just get a
Uh-huh.
handful of something, and
Fine.
yeah, a handful of vertebrae, as you do,
Next.
and she will just attempt to kind of like fling this off Elena and backwards, and
Okay. That is
this is
choleric.
gonna go horribly. Yep.
You sort of attempt to grab at the neck, but your hand hits where the fur should be, and instead of actually reaching something solid, your hand just kind of sinks into it. Kind of like if you ever put your hand into like a like mold floating on water. It just sort of pierces
No.
through into the black bile underneath. And when you pull out, you just literally fling black fluid around.
Wow. I'm fucking graceful.
Jurgen.
Help, please.
Time to get in there.
Oh, it's Elena.
I
I'm
need
sorry.
an adult.
Yeah, I was about to say, Elena.
Elena, it is your turn. Sorry.
So Elena's gonna yell over at Jurgen and Zygmunt to be like, just like a little bit of help, please. And at the same time, I'm gonna try to just, I don't know what to do at this point because I have a feeling a choleric roll is gonna fail because it's how this is worked. I am going to do the stupidest thing possible and try to assert my dominance and hit this thing to get it to get off of me.
Just push it. Why do you have
You
to
know-
fucking roll psychology on the damn thing?
I'm gonna, as a GM, go, what? I'm all for people doing amazing stuff in this. Like, you could say that you're going to reach up, grab it by the neck, and rip its head off, and then beat the body to death with it. And I just say, great, that's a collar.
Oh, you stole my
But-
turn.
If you're going to try to literally scare a beast that literally, and I do mean literally, has no brain, and is pushed only by a strange unknown intelligence that just tells it, eat. It's kind of like psychologically profiling zombies. And I mean like Romero zombies, not like warm
If-
body zombies.
If it's gonna be
Oh.
a choleric roll either way, then Kayla, just fucking punch it off you.
Yeah, so she's gonna take the end of the chain hook in her hand, get the hooks facing the other way, and basically try to use her palm to smash the hooks up into this thing's face.
Okay.
Yeah, I
Shit.
figured that's how that would go.
I mean,
This is why I just wanted to scream in its face to assert my dominance.
It's the exact same roll you would have used, so your
Yeah.
screaming would have come out like all.
No, it would have been
You would've got
persuasive
you
or
would've got some
assertive.
bile in your.
It
your
still
mouth.
would have failed. You could have rolled a 19 and it still would have failed because this creature has no brain.
No,
As
it
you
would
try
have been
to
like,
push-
there's something wrong.
I feel a disturbance in the force.
Oh,
must go.
God.
Just runs off. No, that wouldn't happen. The beast snarls and pushes against your attempt at pushing it off, its mouth opening in 3 different directions, ready to literally consume your head. Jurgen,
Jurgen kind of takes a step back after the tree collapses in front of him and flattens the creature he was squaring up to fight. He flips the visor up
my-
on his...
I didn't mean to roll anything. I'm sorry. I
It's okay,
accidentally
it's okay,
pressed a
it's
button.
alright.
Oh, it's fine. He flips the visor up and kind of, with the back of his hand, pushes some of the viscera that had gotten through the breaths on his helmet off of his face. Not really getting it off, but smearing it down his cheek as you do. Finally, he turns and realizes, oh, hey, Elena's in trouble. So he walks his armored ass
and
over
Rita.
there and tries to punt this thing off of her with one big ol' armored boot.
okay. That is definitely choleric.
Well, there we
You
go.
come over and you accidentally kick Elena in the kidneys. Luckily, she is wearing armor, and it does not do damage.
Okay.
This is what we call the elder ass pug.
Yeah, this is this is
What the
the
hell is happening over here?
Zygmunt. Elena is in desperate need of help.
All right. Well, okay. I guess I'll come over here, and
this is the elder pug. It's not even actually a wolf. It's a fucking pug.
I mean, Jay did mention ripping its head off earlier. I don't know if that's going to be Zygmunt's intent, but he's going to grab this thing, head and neck first, and just wrench it off of Elena as
You can do
In
that.
theory.
as non-delicately as possible.
Right.
Oh, thank God.
You are able to pull it off, but you are now holding on to something
That's very angry and
desperately wants to eat you.
yeah.
I'm going to say you probably take a point of damage just
Yeah.
from holding on to it.
Okay.
But you
that's-
do successfully remove it from Elena.
Yeah.
Okay. Wolfie turn. It's going to struggle against your grip, Zygmunt. So you get to roll immediately again.
Yeah. I guess. Well, we're having a contest of strength here, so I guess I'm just gonna try and hold on to it some more.
That's
I don't-
really about the only option. since
Yeah.
you've got it by the neck, quite literally.
Another 9.
Oh, these partial succeed ones are tough because I have to think of something that technically both of you succeed at. Like its
Yeah.
goal is to be released. Your goal is to hold on to it.
I mean, really, my goal was to get it off Elena. So if it ends with me throwing it, that's not necessarily.
Okay,
yeah.
it is able to get free, but it's not able to attack you. So basically, it shakes itself free and lands sort of in a slump right at your feet, like head first. Just, ineffectively, not a good landing. Let's put it that way. So it is. I wouldn't say stunned because you can't stun something that literally has no senses, but we'll go with that. Okay.
It's being a real pain in the ass for something that doesn't literally have senses.
I mean, it has
Or an ass.
senses, but it
Or an
can't be
ass.
stunned, really. Like, its senses are considered much more resilient to impact than yours are.
But can it
If you
feel
took
love?
No, you can't feel love.
Wah, wah, wah.
All right, Rita, you're up.
Oh, already. God, we're moving so quick now that
Yeah,
there's...
there's only one left.
Where is it? Oh, it's right there. Okay, fuck. I looked away for a second. It was camouflaged in with these damn bushes. All right. Brita
The
still
neon
has
blue
not reloaded.
It's camouflage.
Shut up. Shut the hell up, Lucas. I don't bully you. I don't come into your home and tell you what you're doing wrong.
Yes, you do. All the time.
Moving right along. So, Brita is... Fuck. Useless in this situation.
That gun
Is it
probably weighs
missing any
like 20
health
pounds.
points?
You could hit it.
I don't get like a bonus for what I'm hitting it with, do I?
Not really. No.
Yeah.
There's no heavy shit bonus. I mean, you could make one when you have a move that
Yeah.
you need to generate. You could be, gun is really heavy. +1 to choleric when used as a club. I would accept
That's
that.
not a bad idea. Seeing as this is not going to be the last time I'm in this situation. Alright, Brita's gonna bash this thing with her gun.
Okay.
My next move is
Oh,
totally
thank
wow,
Christ!
okay.
There you go.
Success.
It having landed in sort of a flump at the ground head first, when you come up and sort of smash it, you quite literally remove its head with the butt of the rifle. The back end lands and it starts backing up and it just seems to be running away at this point. Nothing emerging like the first one had. Just its rear legs, literally the knee joints snap backwards and it runs off. Well, what would be tail first into the forest. The head of the beast still sitting there.
Ass first.
Yes.
Excellent.
I don't suppose I have time to try to chain hook the rest of the body that's running away, do I?
You could certainly try. It's technically your turn. Where did I put the thing?
Add a 1 to that. It succeeds.
Okay, you're able to chain hook it. It is now trying to run away and pulling you.
Bye, Elena. We really tried to save you.
That's okay though, because actually, yeah, it's your turn. You just win. Okay, Jurgen, Elena has just chain hooked the back end. What do you do?
Jurgen's gonna grab the length of chain and pull as hard as he can.
Okay.
Shit.
Oh, very hard.
This pull is too strong for you, Elena. Could you roll a choleric for me too? Very rarely will I have you do something not your turn.
Oh my god.
It pulls both of you along with it.
Can I?
Why do we have to take the dog for a walk?
For
Come
Zigmund to
on.
grab Elena's foot to keep her from getting yanked away.
That would be your turn. Yes.
Yeah. So who?
Miss.
Okay, so
Someone's got to grab him, and it's
who's
gonna
in
end
the
up
back?
being me.
I'm gonna grab
Jurgen is in
whoever's
the back. Actually, no,
Is this gonna
Jurgen's
be
in the front because
Yeah,
he
he-
grabbed the
Yeah.
chain ahead of Elena. So Elena
Rita's
would
in the
be
back.
in the back.
Because she's
So
not
what's-
fucking preoccupied with this shit.
What? So it's technically reflexive to catch it, to
Yes.
catch them before they get pulled away, but also collar.
Well,
them.
what's going to happen is you're going to roll reflexive to catch, and then you're going to roll
Choleric
choleric
to
in
hold.
response to its.
Damn.
They've already failed.
Oh, thank God.
Okay.
Okay,
Well, I kind of.
you are going to grab the leg, but you are going to be pulled prone.
Okay.
Now do a choleric
Now,
roll.
now with my free hand.
Yes,
I'm
to grab
I'm
onto
gonna
something.
either stab my sword into the ground or grab onto something, and haul these 3 people up to their goddamn feet.
Thank you, Jesus.
You know what? I'm just gonna have you put a relationship on your chart that says shame. You two are -1 right now.
God.
Zygmunt has saved you. Do you hold on to the chain?
Yes.
Oh, shit.
She's not letting go of the weapon. Also, shouldn't this thing have like ripped itself apart by now?
Maybe they're all constructed differently. They're not similar in that sense. They all rot differently.
Jurgen would have let go of the chain at this point.
Really good hit. So Jurgen lets go. Elena's still holding on.
This is the problem because I grabbed. Oh, and I grabbed Elena. Okay, she's in the
Yeah,
back.
you're good. So Brita, it's now your turn. I don't know if there's much you can do. It's actually I have to move this to its proper location here.
All right, you didn't reload, so we can't shoot it. Shoot her!
Put it. There we go. We're just assuming that there is a chain going between Elena and it. Rita?
Oh my god, I've been muted.
Okay, cool.
All right. So I'm gonna redo all those questions.
Okay.
Remind me again. We've got Elena on the chain, and Jurgen and Zygmunt are not. Correct?
Zygmunt is holding on to Elena to keep her from getting
Oh, good.
dragged into the woods.
Zygmunt was able to grab Elena, but then was then pulled prone. Now both with Jurgen actually in the front. Let's move your tokens just a little bit. Jurgen was dragged, Elena was dragged, and Zygmunt was pulled prone, but he was able to hold on to Elena. Jurgen, now not being dragged forcefully because, Zygmunt stopped the chain's forward motion, lets go. So Jurgen is off the chain, literally. Zygmunt is still holding on to Elena, but has decided she is still holding on to the chain, though. So there could still be a continuing tug of war, or Elena could get dragged away.
Brita is going to move within arm's reach of this chicken shit operation. That's too close. I don't want to actually catch her titties. And she's gonna reload her gun. And is that all I can do, or can I ready an action?
Unfortunately, reloading your gun. It's a muzzle loading gun. You have 6 seconds.
Then, actually, never mind. Fuck the loading the gun.
Okay.
Then she is going to grab onto this chain and fail her collar roll.
No. Don't grab onto the chain. I can't hold all 4 of you.
Seriously, there's 4 of us. How is this not working?
Do we not get like some kind of bonus to the rolls since there's so many of you?
We're using
teamwork there.
Can we have the teamwork dice?
Oh my god.
There are teamwork mechanics, guys. The rules are literally as handouts that are available at any point.
Like we're all holding onto the same rope. We're all yanking.
Yes, but then you both failed. That was the thing. You can't give bonuses or take away bonuses if you're hindering versus helping if you both fail. That's the thing.
Well, she succeeded partially.
Brita did, yes.
Brita did. You did not. Jurgen did not.
Yeah, I'm carrying you.
Zygmunt did, which, let's be honest, is about the only reason you all are not sliding away at this point. And taking damage because of road burn because of it.
Forest burn.
So, Brita, you are able to grab the chain and you are not pulled down, but you can feel the strain on this rope. This is a determined 3/4 of a puppy.
Jesus Christ almighty. Alright, so I'm doing that, I guess, and that's it.
Okay. Elena.
I'm gonna try to yank this thing as hard as I can to pull it apart.
Okay. Yeah, there's lots of things I could do on a partial success. This is what I'm going to say. You literally rip a larger portion of the rib cage out, but the other end of it runs off.
All right. Fine.
That's probably for the best.
It really is.
It is moving so fast and so strongly that when you finally yank on it, the spine severs, the body gives up the fight and lets that piece fall to the ground. Sort of white bone shines through black bile in the moonlight as that body just sort of absorbs into the dirt. I'm going to give you all partial success on that.
I wanted my damn fish.
What?
I was reeling in a big fish.
You haven't checked the other rope yet. That said, Elena, Jurgen, Zygmunt, you are all still on the ground.
Fuck you guys, I know how to stand.
I had to catch them.
I could
Get
use
good.
some healing.
Shut
I
the
need
fuck
healing.
up.
So yeah, Zygmunt's
Jurgen's gonna
stand
go
up.
ahead. Well, Jurgen's gonna get up and offer a hand to Zygmunt.
Oh yeah, Zygmunt will take the hand and then make sure Elena isn't bleeding out on the ground because she took a header there.
God.
Yeah. Elena's just gonna get up. She's gonna be quiet. She's not gonna say much of anything. She's just kind of like, fuck all of this.
Well, you all have successfully defeated your first encounter with Shard Beast.
It was like a partial success. Can we call it a partial success with all the partial successes that were contributed?
No, I'm not going to let this count as
the
another
adder.
partial success.
I don't
It's
understand how this was
I'm
more
assuming
difficult than the
we
adder.
made a signal to some people at the camp, like
Help!
how badly do we need
1-800
to get
help!
these supplies back up there right now?
Oh, you don't have to get these supplies back up there at all. You all were investigating why
Right.
there was a giant blue glow coming from the roadway just down from your campsite.
Right.
When you
Found
got there,
out.
you found a metal cart broken and turned over, covered basically in the black and gold check marks of the Order of St. Michael, and shards and adder blood just flowing out into the road.
But while we're
glowing
here,
brightly.
like we need a cleanup crew, otherwise we're gonna get more shard beasts. We don't want that. Right? Like from what we know, these like discarded shards laying out and about. Not good.
Typically not.
Well, who's the most hurt here?
Elena.
That would be
Elena,
Elena.
Followed
Yes.
by some combination. Well, Zygmunt's got 2 points of harm. Berthold.
Well then, Brita is going to kind of help Elena up and be like, I'm gonna take
Yeah.
her back and get people to come down here to help with you guys.
Also, this, just so you guys know, since you now have fought one of everything, the official harm rules are going into play, starting from here forward.
Meaning what? Were they not already?
No, they were not before. We started off basically with softballs. Now, when you take damage, you are going to be rolling 2d6 plus the harm suffered, because you'll start taking more than 1 point of damage. And you're going to start having side effects like losing your footing, losing your grip of what you're holding, going unconscious, taking additional harm, etc., etc., etc.
Oh boy.
And if I recall correctly, when you roll harm, you want to roll low, right? Or no?
No, actually, basically when you do that, the MC only on a 10 plus, I can only choose one.
Oh, okay.
Generally pretty light. On a 7 to 9, I can choose. Oh, sorry, you're right. You do actually want to roll low. Yes, yeah, you're absolutely correct. I'm sorry, that was me misreading. So yes, you want to roll as low as possible, because the 7 to 9 is relatively minor, and if I can only choose one, great. On a miss, I can choose something for the 709 list, but instead I have to reduce your harm.
Is Angie okay?
Because you roll plus for every harm that you've taken.
Exactly, right. Mm-hmm. But doing that to you on these kind of tutorial fights is not fair. You've
Right.
already got left to sort of juggle, as it were.
How late into the night is it right now?
It's probably 2-3 a.m. at this point. Because Jurgen preached for about an hour
Right.
to the mountains.
And it took us about like an hour to get down.
Roughly.
Or
well, maybe
yeah.
less than that.
Well, no,
15,
because it was a
20 minutes.
mile. It was like a
Yeah.
mile away, right?
Maybe 15, 20 minutes.
Yeah.
Depending on how quickly you all decided to hustle.
Right. I guess
Okay.
my thinking is, what harm can happen in 3 hours if we leave this somewhat unattended and wait for first light to come collect?
I mean, I just said, wait, was I muted for that? I was going to take
Oh,
Elena back and then
yeah.
send people.
But how much do I want to hang out down here with just one other person in the party?
You guys are fine.
It's up to you all.
Jurgen's gonna wait for the caravan guards to show up since Breeda's gonna send them down. Because they
Well,
need to
that's
go.
that's what I'm wondering. Like, do we just work on trying to collect everything now, or do we just wait until first light and collect it when it's a little bit less dangerous?
Well,
Well, you've
how
got
you know it's
plenty
still
of light because it's glowing.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, I meant like less shard beast attracting light.
That's a possibility. This glow does also attracts more than just shard beasts. Point of reference.
I mean, Jurgen's all down to stay down here, gather stuff up, and bring it back up to their actual defensible position.
Yeah. So I mean, yeah. While Elena and Brita head back, Zygmunt and Jurgen will try and tidy up as much of the mess as they can, so we can get things hauled back up. That sounds reasonable. I guess Berthold too, since he's around.
Yes. Okay. That sounds like a good choice. So, give me a melancholic while you're doing the cleanup. Those of you that are doing cleanup.
Well,
Well, at least I got to mark 1 XP for this entire fucking encounter.
too tired from all the fighting.
Yeah.
Isn't there still the thing on the other chain hook?
Yes, but aren't you going to be healed? Are
Yes.
you going to investigate that before getting healed?
I mean, Elena's
I'm
gonna
taking your
mention
dumbass
that
back to
there's-
camp.
Well, duh. No, Elena's gonna be like, I'm fucking done. I'm out. But she's gonna tell Jurgen and Zygmunt that there's something still on the other line that's like on the tree.
Okay. And indeed, there is. That chain is still actually wiggling still.
I left you a present.
You're gonna
Huh.
go check it out.
Yeah.
So you all
He
do
hasn't cleaned his axe off yet.
fine shit.
Yeah, we both rolled really shitty.
Yeah. Okay.
You rolled for Berthold.
While you are while you're sorting through, you do find one piece of paper out of there's probably 20, 30 pieces of parchment that were in the back of this cart. Most of them have been soaked by the Aderblood, and Aderblood is kind of like a solvent and has actually released a lot of the ink, so most of them are just black smeared pages. You do find one that is written not in code, but in just plain German that states specifically to, at nearest convenience, deliver these supplies to our hold at Leonberg. The rest is mostly garbled and hard to determine what it says. And unfortunately, all the rest of the papers have been thoroughly destroyed by the Aderblood, being mostly smears of black on parchment now.
Are all the barrels of adder blood busted open?
Yes.
Are
There are, however, I'm not even going to roll quietly for this. 36 shards.
Damn.
That are
3 tens.
recoverable. Yeah,
That's
so
as
there's
many
all your
as
good
3
rolls
tens,
for the
and
night,
that's
folks.
terrible. Wow, though. Yeah, that. Let's go ahead and gather those up. Is there anything in the cart that would be marked with the like a bag or something that might be marked with the Order of Saint Michael, something identifiable?
There were all sorts of things that are marked with the Order of Saint Michael, including that paper you just found.
Right, but I mean
all
like
the
a
rest
container.
were destroyed. Container? Yes, all the barrels had the mark on it, and the carriage itself was marked with the black and gold check of the Order of Saint Michael.
But like anything that I could get the shards
Transport the
into
shards
for
into.
transport.
Well, if we're
You know what?
if we're having like Elena and Brita bring people back, I'm sure we could have them.
Yeah, you could.
Right,
But
but I
you
just
want
want to.
something that has that mark on it.
Yes, yes, something that would show
Um,
that these are shards from the Order of Saint Michael. These were supposed to be their supplies.
I would have you roll luck if this was Call of Cthulhu. In this case, though, I'm gonna have you roll melancholic again,
Okay.
because that's just looking for something specifically. And whether you miss it in the night, yeah, you'd be able to find a small box. It's a coin box. You could fit a few shards in there. Not all of them, though. 36 shards is a lot of shards. Each shard being anywhere from the length of your thumb to the length of your hand. You'd only be able to fit maybe 10 or so inside it.
Okay, then Jurgen's gonna go ahead and load up as many shards as he can get into the box, and then if you can find anything like a burlap sack, fit the rest of the shards in that, and then put the box in that with the shards.
There wouldn't be much salvageable at the thing, but when the guard gets down, you'd have the material to put it in.
Okay, fair enough.
Okay. So that's a pretty good haul on that there. While you all are doing that, let's switch to Brita and Elena. Brita,
Yes.
it's time to roll healing.
Sit down, you little shit. Alright. Let's
What
see.
did you call me?
A melancholic roll, correct?
Specifically, yes, it is 2d6 plus melancholic, which is just a melancholic roll.
I'll take it. And that takes 1 stock away from me, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Does that take 1 point off
On
my
a
hand
hit,
clock?
they will stabilize and heal to 6, but MC will choose a 1 on a 10 plus or 2 on a 7. What is it again? That's a 9. Does that have any bonuses?
I mean, I get to mark XP.
Well, that's
wait,
not
that's
the
one
bonus
of
I'm talking.
success. But yeah, no. Let's see, sanguine. Nope, I got nothing for melancholic.
Okay, Elena, could you roll me 2d6, please? Elena? There we go.
Sorry, I had a
It's
moment.
alright. So it's a 2 and a 6. Unfortunately, oh god.
Oh no.
Alright, good. Okay. So I have some good news and I have some bad news.
Do I succumb to dysentery?
Is
No.
she addicted to it? Because I'm gonna slap her.
No, she's not addicted to it. That's why I had you roll d6 and not d7. Because we already have one person addicted, and that would just be kind of. So the bad news is, unfortunately, some wounds cannot be healed. They simply need time. So unfortunately, Elena, your injuries do require splinting. So you get to choose whether your arm or your leg requires splinting. You can either move half as fast or hit half as hard. Your choice for a week.
We're gonna go with hit half as hard because my choleric already sucks. I'd rather be
Okay.
able to move fast.
Alright. And unfortunately, you do not react to the medicine well and do have horrible diarrhea because of it, requiring an additional unit of stock.
Ah, greedy little shits. We're gonna need to go to Costco and stock up on the real quantities of this shit.
Big old
At or Costco.
family-sized tub.
Yeah.
God.
family-sized healing supplies from the blood of dead mountains. For the family.
From the bile of dead mountains.
Whatever. Semantics.
I will, however, give you an additional point of healing tonight. So tonight you will heal 2 points instead of just 1.
This is just starting to get to the point where, like, in every combat situation, I'm just gonna be, like, cringing every time someone takes damage. Not because I care about their well-being, but just because I'm like, my supplies!
The idea is eventually you may actually have to bargain or do jobs for those supplies. The question is the potential harm?
Services.
Yeah, is the potential harm worth it to take on additional risk? Like, are you going to get more damage doing the job than you're being paid to do the job?
I mean, want some fun?
It's going to be an interesting.
Now, for any wounds that aren't 9 o'clock, you can just heal them without.
You
Like,
will
it doesn't take
typically
a lot,
heal them, yes. Anything over 9 or beyond, you will lose a section of your harm clock per day. You start literally degrading at that point. So that's why you need to be stabilized.
Right.
Okay. Anything under between 3 and 6 are just kind of contusions, minor penetrations, those kind of things that you will heal from, even if they suck,
Right.
even if they're not fun. But a 9 or past is Aderjaeger's sucking chest wound. It's a bad situation.
Right. I'm just talking from my perspective of my current 2 harm clocks.
Yes. So she can go to you and heal you, but does not use stock. So when you get back, you can talk to Brita, and she's going to roll a melancholic roll. On a 6 or lower, there would be no effect, which means the wound would simply heal at their regular speed. On a 7 to 9, they will heal in half the time, and a 10 plus. Oh, that's right. They'll actually heal. It takes longer. I'm sorry. It's generally. Hold on a second.
I thought it was like on a miss, nothing really changes. It heals at its normal.
Yeah. I think it's 1 point for every 2 nights, and then on a 10 plus, they heal 1 damage per night.
So there's really no sense in not getting healed for your.
Yeah, you might as well. It won't cost any stock. You just get bandaged, effectively. And it's considered that Brita, or really anyone who's taking the chance on a healing roll, knows how to make bandages. Or boil water, those kind of things.
But yeah, obviously not there right now, so that's somewhat a moot point.
So we'll do that at the end of the session. So, the thing on the end of the chain. Who is
Let's
it that
go find
goes
it
and
out.
investigates?
I mean, I'm not going to leave Jurgen alone to go check it out by himself, so.
Elena puts her finger on her nose.
Elena's back at the camp. She's
You're not even down here.
Yeah, bitch, you're out of the equation.
Dude, she's just picking her nose. What are you talking about?
Oh,
She's
my
probably pooping
God.
behind a bush.
Yeah.
Just violently.
Brita is praying. Not for Elena.
Anyway, as you reach you can see the chain kind of dancing, and has been for a while, just kind of hopping weakly. And there's sort of a small, I wouldn't say a cliff so much as a drop in the ground, sort of a rocky outcrop. And dangling from the end of the rope, well, not rope, end of the chain hook, is just the skull of one of the Gulons that you had been fighting. The body had ripped off and fallen into the crevice below that you can't quite see in the darkness. But the head is still there, with one of its eyes still glowing blue, and just sort of dancing like a fish on the end of a hook.
Can we keep it? It's so cute.
Jurgen's gonna look at Zygmunt. Is it worth dragging it up for the shard?
Hang on, let me find the right video for this.
Oh no.
Where is
Better
it?
retrieve my chain
It's
hooks.
from that shitty Mortal Kombat movie. Where are you? Oh. I got it. I gotta find it. Oh, here we go.
Hold on, where's my technical?
Do,
Really
do, 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 do,
really sad when
do.
this doesn't show up.
Elena would have asked them to retrieve the chain hook, by the by.
Okay, it doesn't even. Okay, never. Well, either way, Zigman's just gonna step on the thing's head and crush it.
You successfully destroy the Gulon proper.
Really?
And there is one more shard that you can recover.
Awesome. Jurgen's gonna go ahead and pick up that shard. That one's not going into the same bag as all the others, though. That one's going to be separated.
All right. It wouldn't take you long to finish cleaning up, and by the time you're on your way, ready to come back, the caravan guard would have already been down there. They would have done what you would expect. They would have set up a perimeter, but for the most part, they're just as curious about this strange Order of St. Michael card as you were, but also seemed similarly disappointed when there wasn't much to actually find. You do know that this cart was on its way to Leonberg, however, which might be something to look into in the future.
Yeah, I'm just not sure where that is on the map.
I can show you that because we don't need to be here anymore.
Yeah. Oh, that's actually
Leonberg
perfect. That's right along the way.
is on the way to Stuttgart,
Yeah.
along the same trade road. Let's actually move you to where you are. Ha ha ha. There we go. That's right. That's something I can do.
Here we go. I found it. Don't. Here you go, guys. Oh wait, it's in the Twitch chat. Hey, hang on. There we go. Let's go to this one instead.
Sorry, they deleted your message.
Yeah, exactly. That's all I wanted to do.
Well, let's wrap it up here as we're quickly approaching the end of our time. Returning back to camp with your spoils. Last little bit of moonlight setting over the tree line behind you. Is there anything else you would like to do before you decide to rest for a little bit more before the day itself begins?
Jurgen's gonna go ahead and wash off his hands and face.
Muted. God damn it. Rita's not patching anyone up. She takes one look at him and goes, nope.
Elena's taking
Zigman's
a nap.
trying to like get his busted ass gauntlet off his hand because it's like wedged in there, and he looks at her and looks back at his gauntleted hand and just shrugs.
Bertolt comes over with a
So, yeah.
file.
Exactly, he's gonna have Berthold try and get it off.
Don't worry, I'll roll choleric to help you. I
Please
only
don't.
have a -1.
Please don't.
And
Percussive
suddenly
medicine.
everyone's tumbling down the hill.
Welcome to the 6-hour Aderjaeger session, where we'll...
It's called Gravity Sucks Dick. We just keep falling over.
Elena just yells at her bandages to assert dominance.
So, unfortunately, you're going to need about 4 days to heal up.
Yep, that's fine.
But otherwise, you should recover. You can tell these are not life-threatening wounds, even if they do hurt. All right. I think we're going to call it there. Thank you, everyone who joined us tonight. We decided to do a little thing different, and unfortunately, these aren't even the weirdest threats that
Not yet.
Aderjaegers have to encounter. But thank you all for joining us. Don't forget that we have multiple games that go on every week. On Thursday, we have The Shield Against Midnight, a Call of Cthulhu adventure set in 1969. And on Sundays, we have Voices in the Wilderness, a 13th Age game taking place on the floating continent of Mome. Be sure to tune in there. All the times are below the channel and in Eastern. Thank you. Have a good night.
Good night, everybody.
Good night.
Good night.